During the first session or introduction of the logbook, the SLP would help the individual learn the sections of the logbook and how to use them. They might also explain the importance and purpose for having/implementing the logbook. This is known as the acquisition phase.
And I'm having problems with my memory and paying attention in class.
Right. How long ago was your concussion?
It was like 3 weeks ago.
How did you get your concussion?
I'm a cheerleader and I was stunting and I fell on my head during a stunt.
Okay. All right, so when you say you have attention and memory difficulties, what does this look like?
In class I have some problems paying attention and coming back to focus. I get really sidetracked. I also have had difficulties remembering assignments that I have to do, and when I'm planning my days, I forget things that I have to do that day.
Okay, so like as you're going throughout your day, you're forgetting. Do you switch classes in your high school? Okay, and you're in 9th grade?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, well, there's a couple things that we can do. One that I normally recommend to my clients are memory logs. So it would just be a notebook that you would keep with you wherever you go. And you can also adapt this as time goes on, but we can see if this would be something that you were interested in to help you with your attention.
Miss Webb continues to explain to Jodi what a logbook is and how it is outlined. As you can see in the picture, the logbook is set up with 2 columns on the left-hand side. The first column is a timetable or a schedule for the day, and the second column is a to-do list. The right-hand side is a memory log, where Jodi can record anything that she would like to remember throughout the day.
Okay, so far?
Yeah, this sounds good.
Okay. So for the memory log, something that I recommend is doing mnemonic. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, we have some of them in school.
Okay. So we do it the 3 W's. So I do who did you meet, when did you meet them, and what did you do? So that's something that maybe you can write in the corner if you feel like that's helpful for you, especially with you're just starting high school, and I'm sure there's lots of people in there that you're meeting day in and day out, and you seem like you're really busy. I know you do cheerleading. Do you do any other kind of extracurricular activities?
I'm in band too.
Okay, awesome. Do you have like a boyfriend, any friends, or anything that you hang out with a lot?
I have a lot of friends.
Okay, yeah. So maybe there's, you're hanging out with your one friend and there's a birthday party, or you guys are going somewhere down to the beach and maybe you meet some new people. Maybe it's important to kind of know their names because, being a young high school student.
I forget them often.
Yes, yeah. I do too. So no hard feelings, right? So this is a perfect spot to write down those kind of things. So we can write that off into the side if you want.
Okay.
The 3 W's.
Can you remind me what it is
Yeah.
again?
So it's who did you meet? When did you meet them? And what did you do?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And some other strategies and cues that I talk to as well are just, there's 3 of them. We have cross out, notes, and next. So some things I'm sure are very common and things that you do, or maybe you did prior to your concussion, but it's always helpful to constantly remind yourself. So for cross out, on the timetable task, whenever you complete something, and I think it's very rewarding just to cross it out so you know that it's done, it's out of the way, and you don't have to worry about it. And as you go through each hour of the day, you're getting closer and closer to sleep and being done with your day. I'm sure school is very stressful. And then notes would be notes that you have done in the memory log. So if you have done anything, or maybe if you haven't done anything and it's really important and you want to revisit, you can make sure that you make notes of that. And then next is just to check what is next on the timetable. So these are just little things, especially if your attention is really hard for you sometimes. This might just be a good little reminder cue, just written down, very informal, to know, okay, cross out, notes, and next. So if you would like to write that on the top here. And this first one we're going through together, but as time goes on, I'm sure a lot of these things you won't need to write that down anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a planner, but it's pretty unorganized, so this might work better for me.
Yeah, and there's nothing to say that after using this memory log that you can't switch to a calendar, because a calendar is kind of set up the same way. This is just a little bit more detailed, especially post-concussion, very early on. It's important to be very thorough and stuff, and as those strategies and techniques become really refined for you, then you can switch to different things such as a planner.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And then next time you come, so I think you're coming back in 2 days, 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, I think my mom told me that.
Okay. So we'll just check out with the receptionist before you leave. When you come back, so once you take this home, just kind of get familiar with it.
Okay.
Start to look over it. And when you come back, I'll have some different situations that we can talk through and how you would really functionally use this in school or at home or other places.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, Miss Webb.
You're welcome. I'll see you in a few days.
Okay, bye.
During the session, the individual learns how to apply the logbook to simulated settings. This is known as the application phase.
Oh, I've been pretty busy. I had band and I had cheerleading one night.
Awesome. Are you still cheering?
No, my doctor hasn't cleared me yet, but my mom lets me go and just sit there, so I'm with my friends.
Awesome. So you're being supportive of your team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to get back to play or cheering?
Yeah, I would like to get back, but everyone's kind of been a little crazy and they won't let me go back yet, so
They take concussions very seriously in high school.
yeah, I'm just allowed to sit there right now.
That's good. It's good to take the time to make sure that your brain's healing, especially being so young. Very important to take that time.
That's what everyone keeps saying.
Yes, very much so. All right, so let's open up your log, your memory log.
Okay.
All right, and did you look over some of the things to kind of get familiar with them?
Yeah, my mom and I went over it last night.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to set up some different scenarios for you. Some different things, more so in school because that is a big focus in your life right now, right? You're there 5 days out of the week. And so the first one, I just kind of want to go through your average day and how we're going to schedule everything out.
Okay.
So, would you like a pen or a pencil?
Can I have a pencil, please?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we're going to first start here.
Okay.
So, first off, what time do you wake up normally?
I normally have to be out of bed by 7 o'clock.
Okay, awesome. So, do you normally set an alarm? Does your mom normally come and wake you up?
I set an alarm, but that's kind of also been a problem because I usually forget to set my alarm like 2 or 3 days a week.
Okay. Well, that could be something that we could put in our to-do list.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe let's start there.
Okay.
So I would just put set alarm for next day.
Okay.
So each night, I would recommend going through your pages for the day.
Okay.
So say that this was your page. You're going to put set for the next day, and then we would even want to come here and make sure that we're setting our alarm and you're already writing it in for the next day so that you're prepping yourself for the next day.
Okay.
So first we'll put just that alarm on your
Wake up.
timetable. Wake up. And get ready, right? Normally get ready.
Yeah.
And then what time do you need to be to school?
I have to be to school at 8, but I live really close, so my mom takes me and we leave like 5 or 10 minutes before 8 o'clock.
Okay. And what class do you have first?
First I have homeroom,
Okay.
and then I go to English.
Okay. So we would just need to note that and what times.
Okay.
So you would write homeroom first.
Miss Webb continues to outline an average day for Jodi with her busy schedule. She outlines when she has classes, band practice, and cheer practice. Even though she cannot play, she still goes to support her team. This helps her become familiar with the logbook and how to functionally use it in her life. Next, Miss Webb creates another simulated situation for Jodi to practice using her logbook.
To your class. So this is something that we could use the memory log for.
Okay.
So what is one of your classes that you have class that you're taking?
Yeah, I have a marketing class.
Okay, awesome. So say that there was a guest speaker that came in for the marketing class, and your teacher said a lot of what he was presenting on is going to be on your next test. This is something that we would want to work on in our memory log to make sure that you're going over those 3 W's, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember what they are?
Who did you meet? When did you meet them? And what did you do?
Okay. So say you had a guest lecturer come into your class. What would you want to write down about him?
I could write down his name.
Okay. In addition to that, is there anything else you can think of that you would want to write about that specific person other than their name?
Maybe what they do?
Yeah, so like their job title. That would
Okay.
be something really important that you would want to write down. What else would you write?
When did you meet them? I could write down the day they came to my class to talk.
Yeah, yep. So you would probably want to write the class.
Yeah.
Make sure that if maybe you had another guest speaker in your math class, or I don't know if you really have guest lecturers in your math class, but say you do, it might be important to note that this is the information that's really important to marketing and not to that other class.
Right.
Okay, what else would you want to write down?
What did you do? I could, for that one, write about things that he talked about with us, or maybe things that he does for his job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, those are both very, very important. I would write that down too. If your teacher is saying that it's going to be on a test, I would want to make sure that if he's really honing in on one specific topic, that you would want to write those stuff down, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And a lot of teachers want to relate what is talked about to the class, right? So maybe how is it applicable to what the guest speaker is saying to your class might be something that's also important to make that connection.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I could do that.
does that seem helpful to kind of get some different situations and scenarios where you're using this memory log?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes we have assignments where we have to write reflection papers from guest speakers, and that's so hard for me because I never can remember anything.
Do you use anything to remember things, or
I have a planner.
Okay.
It's very unorganized.
Okay. Well, the most important thing too, so since you're saying you have difficulty with your memory and your attention, the attention piece is the foundation of your memory, right? So if you're not able to attend to something, then you're not going to be able to remember it. If you're listening to that guest lecture and you're thinking, oh, I want to have chicken nuggets for dinner. I wonder if we have some in our freezer at home. Are you listening to anything that the guest speaker is probably saying?
No.
So it's really important to attend and have that good attention with whatever it is, whether it's you're riding in the car with your mom, whether you're listening to somebody in the car, whether you're paying attention in band class, or even just supporting your friends at cheer practice. You want to make sure that you're attending it so that you're better able to remember it. And then also using this memory log will also help you to retain that stuff. So it helps with some of those deficits and those problems, difficulties that you're having.
Okay.
All
That
right.
sounds like it would help.
Yeah. So I want you to take this home over the next week and practice it. And I will see you next Tuesday, so in a week from now. And hopefully, if you can do it every day, that'd be great. If some days it's not the best, that's okay. We're trying this out. We're starting it. Don't feel super pressured. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to email me.
The last phase is known as the adaptation phase. This is when the individual is adapting the logbook in a natural environment, such as school, job, home setting, or in the community.
I completed my math worksheet called Matthew. Oh, I need to remember this for tomorrow. I took out the trash. Spirit Week's in 7 days. I talked to Mom. Dad said Megan could come stay the night. All right, let's set my alarm on. All right, I need to write it in for the next day.
In this video, Jodi is using her logbook at home to check off her to-do list, what she learned from her SLP, and uses her logbook to remind herself of upcoming events. In this video, Jodi used her logbook to write down important details about the information she was learning in class on her memory log sheet.
That talks about everything that we're going over today, but I'm just going to explain it in more detail. You're going to make sure that you want to know this for the test. It is very important. It will cover all of the definitions and the formulations that we will need for our next test. So if you have any questions, we're going over today, but page 24 is where you would want to look to find this information.
Okay. Chart on page 24.
Jodi continued to use her logbook in various settings and saw Ms. Webb once a week to practice applying it to different situations to help her use the logbook functionally. When Jodi got comfortable with using her logbook, she decided to switch to a planner and adapt the format to mimic her logbook. In other words, she used the monthly calendar view to write down her to-do lists, then used her larger daily pages for her timetable, and her notes section in the back for her memory log. Overall, a memory log is a great tool to use for people of all ages with brain injury and is successful to use with younger students to help with their attention and memory difficulties.